how we money today. Make it work for me, not give it away. Future plans on display. Do it for myself, that free feels great.
My name is Alexandra Roca. I'm a workplace financial consultant with Fidelity Investments, and I'm here with two of my colleagues, Vanessa and Jeremy, who have spent years helping our customers achieve financial freedom. Today we're going to be here to talk about different scenarios that we have encountered on the field working with our customers, and I want to start with one of mine. So I met with a client recently, Jamari, and he shared with me that even though his hourly job is a fantastic paying role, he still is struggling from time to time with one or two bills. I think that's something that a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah.
For
Right?
sure.
Right? Where you feel like, hey, I can pay everything, but then all of a sudden there's this unexpected expense, right? Like your phone breaks. Or for him, his best friend got married, so he needed clothing to go to the wedding, plus the wedding presents and everything involved with that. And on top of that, he was playing basketball. He fell, broke his wrist. I know. It's one of those things where you feel like you can't get ahead, and then everything happens.
Yes.
Everything happens.
When it rains, it pours.
Yes, absolutely. So obviously he had to meet his deductible, so he had to pay everything out of pocket, right? And it just felt like every time he is going to move ahead or inch ahead, something comes in and takes away that savings potential. So what would you say to Jamari if you were the one having the conversation with him?
Emergency savings. And I say this knowing that it can sometimes feel very hard to feel like you're struggling to keep up with day-to-day bills already, and then also figuring out saving, spending, and then now we're throwing in an emergency savings fund. But having that can give you padding and cushion for events like this where we can't control when someone gets married. Or we don't know that we're going to go play basketball and then all of a sudden now we have to meet our deductible. We just don't know. Obviously, having an emergency fund is important. It provides us padding and cushion for events that can pop up where we can't plan for that. Right. But I do have people telling me constantly that it's very hard to build an emergency fund. I even had one mom that told me, she was a young mom, and she said that as much as she wanted to have an emergency fund, things would keep popping up that kept her from being able to save in that fund for emergencies. And life happens. Day-to-day life, a lot of things are out of your control. But let's say if his expenses were around $200 to the $500 range, if we could start tracking our savings, spending, seeing where we can cut back, maybe we can find $10 to $20 a week where we can put that away for that rainy day.
You know, I was thinking about that and Jamari's circumstance. And another level is to make sure that you're not putting your spending dollars with your savings dollars. Mm-hmm. Because how many times do we get caught in that slippery slope where we have, I have emergency savings, and then all of a sudden, I want this brand new watch and it's really cool, and you dip into those emergency savings because they're in your checking and your savings account. Mm-hmm. So when you're thinking about having dollars for emergencies, make sure that they are in a separate account that's easily accessible, but a separate account so you don't have that commingling experience and buying things that you don't necessarily need from those emergency savings. And I also want to think about insurances, right? Now, Jamari had insurance to take care of his situation with his basketball, and that is awesome. But also extend that even further. If Jamari had a pet that went off and swallowed something it shouldn't have swallowed, how much would that cost, right? Thousands of dollars it can be. So pet insurance, car insurance, look at all of those things that can go wrong and mitigate those things by having insurances in place. Take a look.
Oh my gosh, that is fantastic advice. I remember when I was in college, to your first point, I did have a checking and a savings, but it really worked more like checking one, checking 2. If checking 1 couldn't cover it, checking 2 was coming to the rescue.
Yes.
So I absolutely, that absolutely resonates with me, because I did have to open that separate emergency savings account that I know I'm not supposed to touch.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Absolutely. Now, I find that this picture can look really different if you have some student loans, right? Having to make that payment every month can take a real bite out of that savings potential. So I recently met a student, Tyler, or rather, no longer a student, but a graduate, Tyler, who has about $30,000 in student debt. That's a lot.
It is. That's a tough number to work down, especially when you're getting paid hourly. So for most people, the solution is coming up with a smart plan where you're paying the loans back over time. But some people, and Tyler seems like he might be one of those people, is they may want to explore the government's repay program, and that will adjust your payment based on your family size and what you're earning.
Absolutely. And most importantly, if you think you're going to miss a payment because you just can't get to it, check out and maybe explore some of the deferment or forbearance. I know, terrible names, but they can put a hold on that monthly payment, potentially. And if I'm talking with somebody who works for a hospital or a government agency or even a university, I will usually bring up the loan forgiveness program.
Yes.
Right? You make payments for 120 months or 120 qualified payments, and then the government pays the rest. It's a nice perk. But you do have to qualify for some of these programs.
Now, I'm thinking about how all of this can help Jamari.
Yeah, absolutely.
How all of this can help Jamari. And we're just not thinking about how he's going to spend his money, but we're also thinking about the other side of the ledger in cash flow, right? Now, everybody's not built for a side hustle. I know that it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of energy when it comes to thinking about picking up a few hours here and there. But where is Jamari going to come up with this extra, say, $100 every month in order to meet his financial circumstance?
No, that's true. And a great place to start is looking at the spending. And while Jamari may not be an excessive spender, I'm sure if we really looked, there are areas where he could, squeeze some extra savings out of there. And I always suggest pulling the credit card statements and looking at every single charge and seeing where all your money is going.
I'm being smarter, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just making that into a habit, because then if you are seeing where your money is going, your hard-earned money, by the way, being spent, you start to realize, oh, did I need that? Did I need that? And then if you make it into a habit and you're consistently checking where your money is going, maybe that helps you subconsciously at least start making better decisions where you're asking yourself, do I need that? Do I have another goal that I want to prioritize? Do I have emergency savings in case something comes up? And maybe that money can go towards that instead. But it's really about starting with tracking the spending. It also just helps you get smarter about where you're spending, whether it's checking out all of your subscriptions or shopping around for the best deal or discount, or maybe only buying 1 to 2 items, or maybe not buying something altogether. I'm sure if we all took a hard look at our credit card statements, we could see that we could probably easily find that extra $50 here and there. I know we've talked about it before, where when I combined households with my partner, I had my own subscriptions, he had his own subscriptions. Now that we're combining households, do we both need the same subscriptions? So right there, we were I volunteered to be the one that canceled my subscription. So I found my extra $10.
You brought up the term finding a 50, and one of the ways that we can probably find a 50 is looking at your employer, right? Does your employer have a discount program? Because there are definitely things that we can look out just through having a job that can give us an opportunity to get discounts on things that we're buying all the time. So whether it's $50 here, $50 there that are available through programs that you have just at your job can be absolutely extraordinary, right? Now, you take that another step further, look at things that you can have, like a credit card, for example, that gives cash back, right? That's another way where you can find that 50. So there are always avenues when it comes to finding something, really virtual anything, when it comes to finding those extra strings of cash if you need them.
Absolutely. And one last thing is having good money fundamentals. If you're paying fees or if you have revolving credit card debt that you're paying interest on, maybe focus on getting rid of that first, because those are things that are cutting into our savings potential, right? So make a plan, try to tackle that first, so then you'll have that extra money that you can save. And remember, not everyone is a money expert, and that's okay. That's why we're here. And this is How You Money.
This is how we money today.